Good morning. It's been a while since I've been out in the shop actually, and it's been quite a while since I made a video. Been sort of in a slump around here with this virus situation going on, so I think this thing affects you psychologically, if not keeping you in. Actually, since I've been confined to the premises here, I should have done 10 or 15 videos instead of not doing any. So anyway, I'm trying to climb back on the horse this morning and do something. A long time ago, I purchased a vise. It's a Chinese type Kurt vise for the little mini mill. And it's a little bit too large for the mill actually, but it works just fine. I don't know if I would recommend buying a 4-inch vise for a mini mill, but like I say, it works just fine. It came with a base, so you can rotate it, which I've never used actually. So that was just kind of a waste of a few extra dollars that I didn't need to spend. But it also came with some alignment pieces, so you could align it with the table on the mill, and those were just too large for my mill. So I decided this morning to see if I could find them. They're two little square pieces of metal with some screws that hold them to the vise or the base, whichever you might use. And they're sort of they're precision fit. So things have to sort of be done right if you want them to work, because hopefully you don't have to dial in the vise every time you move it. If you move the direction 90 degrees one way or the other. So anyway, that's what I've decided to do, and in the process I've sort of figured out that considering the precision that needs to be taken into consideration, I decided to take a little bit off of one side and of the little block of steel and use the hand shaper to do that, because I can control very closely what I'm doing. So let's see here. Let me zoom out a little bit here. So hopefully that's a little bit. So I didn't take the vise off the mill yet, but this is the base right here that comes with it, and the little rectangular or square pieces look like this. And all they do, they go into a slot in the base. Same on the vise. So it took a little bit of deburring to get them all to fit, but they fit quite precisely into the base anyway. So before starting this video, I sort of put one of them on the hand shaper and I shaved it down. You can see that. And I took it off of one side because actually it would have been better to take it off of both sides, but I was afraid that I couldn't precisely do it that way. I was a little bit apprehensive. So taking it off one side of both pieces seemed like the way to get a precision job so it would fit perfectly. So this one, you know, I took I don't know, 70 some thousandths off of it, so it actually gets into the countersink for the screw, but that doesn't hurt anything, and it enables me to just use one side of it. So this video is going to be about finishing this project up actually. So actually I'm going to take the other one over there to the shaper and do the same thing to it as I did to this one, and hopefully have it precisely, a very precise fit into the mill table. So this one fits perfectly. Maybe I got lucky, I don't know, so we'll see. But anyway, that's what we're going to do this morning. And I'm going to pull the vise off the mill and take a look at the bottom of it, because I haven't done that yet. I'm assuming it's the same as the base, so hopefully I'm correct on that. So anyway, that's what this video is going to be about. So I'm going to reset up the camera a couple times, probably, because I have hardly any room to work here. So anyway, let's get the camera moved and go to the next step. So there's actually no good place to put the camera here. But that said, let me turn on the light, and we're going to pull this vise off of here. It hasn't been off for a long time, and you can see more than half of the vise hangs off the table. So this is quite a large vise for a mini mill. Probably a better selection would be a 3-inch vise, although I haven't had any problems with this one. But it's all dirty. I have to mount it all the way in the rear slot here, so it's the only way you can do it. So let's see here. Let's get it off here. So there she be. Now I'm not sure for the light cuts you make on this mini mill, probably the 2 bolts that hold the visor work just fine. I haven't had any problems with anything moving. It's pretty heavy, a lot of crud under it. Let's see here. Well, there's the base of it. A lot of oil down here. I don't think this vise has been off here for a couple of years. I don't know. It's been a while. And I had to do some deburring on the base to get things to fit. So I'm sure these little things aren't, no, they're, yeah, well, that one goes in there, so that's good. That one fits, well, that's good. This one almost fits. I just move it around a little bit. That you can see that they fit very tight. So they're very tight, very tight fit. And that's what I'm hoping to accomplish, where they fit into the table. So I don't know if you can see, so actually there's no play at all, so that fits pretty close into the table. Hopefully it's going to be just fine. So, okay, so with that, I'm gonna move over to the shaper and get the next little block set up in the shaper, and we'll shave it down to match this one. Remember what this might be, but we need to shave it down to about about 473 thousandths. So that's what we're going to do. And this distance here doesn't seem to be that critical. So what I just made it 100 thousandths approximately. So I can eyeball that on the shaper. I've set up a stop on the shaper. So let's move the camera over there and and take a look and get started with the with cutting the second piece down to size. Hopefully this is going to be a fairly short video. Okay, I've got the piece mounted in the little vise, and I've got the camera set up over here at the shaper. So I'll probably fast forward to some of this. I'm only taking off about 10 thousandths per pass. We got about 77 thousandths to come off, and I've touched off at 14. So one trip around the dial is 50 thousandths, so 64. So we need to go one trip around the dial after we get to 0, and then another 13 thousandths, it looks like. So we'll get going, and so we'll see what happens here. I got the stop set up. Let's see if I can. Well, you can see over on the right side of the carriage, what I use is just a regular old vise stop, and I stick a piece of rod in there, some length. It doesn't have to be precise because I can move the stop back and forth. So I stick a piece of rod in there to take up the difference. So when I get to the end, that's where I'm going to stop, and I've left about approximately 100 thousandths on the end, just like the other piece. So let's get going and see what we got to do here. A little oil on it, that helps, I suppose. Okay, so we'll have to take a couple strokes to get going here. I don't know where I'm close, but okay. Well, that's where we touched off. So I'm going to take on this pass. I'm going to go start at 20. That's just about 6 or 7 thousandths, and then we'll take 10 thousandths off of each pass after this. This doesn't take very long because we're only going a short distance here. That's it. So we're at the end of our stop. We'll move it to 30. I also know when I start breaking through to the countersink area, I'm getting really close to where I'm supposed to be. But I've already mic'd it, and I know 77 thousandths is what I need to take off. So there we go. Go to 40. to 0. I did stop the camera in there at one point. I needed to do my arithmetic again to make sure I was where I should be. I think we're getting really close to where we're supposed to be here. I can sort of see we're breaking into that countersink where the screw goes. So I need to make that last pass kind of quick. We should be getting close. Maybe this countersink isn't exactly the same. probably need, the last one I did theoretically, so this one I think maybe we're going to have to go all the way 11 thousandths. I think we're going to have to mic this one to make sure we're where we need to be, because I don't see us breaking through here for some reason. I think we're close. Yeah, we're theoretically we're there, but something's not quite right. Oh, all right. I don't think I can get the mic in there. Oh, maybe. We need to be at 473. And we're at 473. Well, oh, let's see. I guess I'm going to shut the camera off at this point, and I'll take it over there and we'll give it a test and see what's how we did. Also, I need to deburr it a little bit. Okay, I'm back over at the mill. It was a little bit of a problem. It turned out that the threaded holes in the vise, the existing holes in the vise, did not line up. So one of them did perfectly. The other one, I kept drilling the hole out in the little block. I think 6 or 7 drill sizes, and I still couldn't get it. It's so far offset. So much for Chinese precision. So I'm not real happy with that, and it leads me down the road of thinking that maybe this whole project is not going to work, because if these alignment pieces don't create a situation where the vise is aligned properly, then I'm just going to have to take them off anyway. So you know, we'll go through the process of checking that out. But so there we go. So they do fit. The shaper did a beautiful job, so I'm happy with that part. And oh, this thing's pretty heavy for an old man like me. There it fit perfectly. No, well, it's a little hard to tell. Hardly any movement, if any. So there we go. We can put the bolts back in. This should be perfectly aligned. If I have 1 or 2 thousandths of play, then I can, you know, bump the vise a little bit, which that'll be good, I guess. Here's hoping, I guess. I like the idea that those pins are there. Okay, let me, so we're back in business. Normally I center the vise, so I need to do that, but for right now that'll be fine. I don't know where we're at right now. I don't have my tape. Usually I center the vise on the table. So let's see here. So we're at 6 1/4 there. Well, 6 1/4. So actually within a 32nd. So pretty close. Let me shut the camera off. Let me get the indicator set up and we'll see what happens. Okay, I'm back again. It worked out okay, I guess. I guess it's as good as it can be. That's what I'm thinking right now. I don't think it can be any better. I'll get in there and try to operate the table. Maybe I can do that by hand or whatever. Let me get zoomed in on the dial. Okay, there's the dial. Maybe I better zoom out a little bit. Well, the dial's just on the vise jaw, top of the vise jaw. So I probably don't have it zeroed exactly right. But when I first set it up, it was didn't work as good as I thought it should. But I was able to bump the vise 0.02 of an inch, and that seemed to do the trick. So hopefully we're good. At least it sure helps me get it set up again. So I see my battery's going dead. So let me flip the viewer around and bump the vise. Take this off. I can't see it myself, so but I can see the indicator. It's staying about a 0.5 thousandths or underneath below zero there, so it's pretty good actually. It's probably right at the end there. It takes a little dive. I don't know why that is, but it's pretty good. And I can just bump it a couple thousandths into place, not wiggling all over. So it actually does help. So we'll have to try it in the X position. Put the vise in the X axis position and see what happens. But by the way, those holes look like they're lined up. There was just one hole in this Y axis that was bad. So anyway, with that, I'll call off. So I'd say this little project was successful. Hopefully this will be a fairly short video. So thanks for watching and enjoy.